Hello everyone, my name is Wale Farong. I'm a tech entrepreneur and you're watching Tech Roundup, your weekly opinion, views and analysis of the top tech events happening around the world with a focus on Nigeria. Our guest this week, Larry Oti, who is the co-founder of Send.ng, will be talking about the Lagos State new initiative in tech called Lagos Ride. We have a packed show for you, so let's get started. Talking about experimenting, right? Larry, we hear that the Lagos State government is doing a tech experiment. Do you want to tell us more about that?
I don't know if that's an experiment, but yeah, but Lagos State. So they're launching Lagos Ride. Which is an e-hailing service that is supposed to rival Bolt and Uber. I think they launched on March 4th, and I think they signed a partnership with CIG Motors Limited, and they're supposed to pilot with a fleet of 1,000 units of SUVs within the next, 6 months. In the context of the ride-hailing service, is it a pressing need? I was thinking, like in the Lagos, where there are a whole lot of cars that once you go inside, you can tear your clothes, right? I think new cars. There's nothing bad with new cars, right? New cars would always work. In the context of ride-hailing service, is it a pressing need? I'd say not so much, right? Because the guys that currently exist, just the Uber and Bolts, are technically there. They're probably surviving one way, right? I wouldn't want to comment in their business, but I think today I would say they suffice, and there's no, and with marketplace business, right? The whole chicken and egg thing, there has to be like an equal balance. Like you have to fight your way to the point where you're able to say, there's like equilibrium, right, between supply and demand, right? Without that, it's like really, really crazy. Likelihood of adoption. A lot of people know Uber and Bolt together. The advantage of being like state PR, would help. Folks would know it exists. A couple of folks would try it out. Where these things die is when it comes to product development. So what does that mean? It's, I download the app, I open the app, does it work, right? And how well does it work, right? So if I open your app, I don't see a cab, or I open your app, stuff is expensive, or, I get debited twice and I try customer service, and customer service is, literally, or the person tells me they are praying in the morning before they answer my message, whatever, right? That is where this, so that's like one of the major, points of failure for this, because the government is not tech is not their thing per se, right? And even though they might have outsourced it, to a private entity, that private entity is like, how would I put it? They're like a mercenary for hire, right? They could build something really good, but the customer service around it, could pretty much be shaky. The impact on performance on existing guys in the market, I don't think those guys have anything to worry about. Frankly, it happens to be governments and it happens to be tech, right? If it was an asset-based business, then they would give them a run for their money. So it was a case of, how many cars can we put on the road, newer cars and stuff. But day one, I don't think there's anything to worry about. I don't think there's anything to worry about, right? I don't think those guys have anything to worry about because, ride hailing, there's a curve to ride hailing. If it was that straightforward, I think a lot of people would have, come into the market. But I think existing guys don't really have anything to, you always worry about a new competitor, right? But I don't think the competitive landscape is so for them, from their angle, Lagos State coming to the space, I don't think there's any major thing. The only time they might be affected, right, is if Lagos State tries to play someone a hand game in the context of they being government, try to use policy to their favor, right? And I think the current ride-hailing guys, work with government enough in terms of lobbying and trying to have a middle ground with government. So, for example, the new taxes that was levied, I think was last year or last 2 years, and the government agreement on maybe sharing data and things like that, right? So I think those guys work with the government, more closely now. But in the context of the business itself, products, are they going to lose customers? Are customers going to move here and flock? I don't think so, right?
For me, the transportation problem in Lagos is less of availability of cars. In fact, one could argue that there are maybe too many cars on the road. So to solve that problem of too many cars, is either you are building more roads or you are reducing the number of cars on the road at every point in time. So this sounds a bit contradictory to trying to solve that problem. So that's the first issue I have here, which is a non-tech issue. It's just a common sense issue, trying to figure out exactly what the government is trying to do. The second thing very quickly is on the existing players, and I think you started touching on it. For me, this government has been sort of, with their policies, destabilizing that space. Maybe not necessarily with the ride-hailing guys, but started with the bike-hailing guys, which we've been talking about for the last 2 years. Those guys were trying to solve some of the transportation problems for the low and middle class people in the state, and that was going pretty well. The government disrupted that. We don't know exactly where they're going to land, eventually on that, but for now it seems like that service doesn't exist right now. And to these guys who are in the ride hailing, like you said, they may decide to make this much cheaper than both Uber and Bolt, right? Because they can do it. They might decide to make this pay better for the drivers. So the portion of the transport fare that they are giving to these guys may be more competitive than the existing players. They could even decide to say the 1,000 ride is just a way to start. We're going to encourage private owners to bring their cars, download the app and register. So which means that, I can be a Bolt, Uber and Lagos Ride driver at the same time. But if I'm getting more money from Lagos State, that may put my focus more on that, and I will pick people who are using it. So there are different ways they could disrupt the service here. Let's not underestimate what they can potentially do. So that's how I'm looking at it. Jenny, I don't know what your comments are before we round up this story.
Yeah. You both have pretty much, talked about the major concerns with this particular story. The first time I saw it, honestly, I felt a bit biased because of the regulations that they came up with like 2 years ago with the bike hailing and all that. And you mentioned earlier, about we don't need more cars. Do we really need 1,000 more cars on Lagos roads? With how bad it is and how many, there are just 21 million Lagosians right now, or more, possibly, but 1,000 more cars. What happens to other solutions like underground or water or other transportation solutions? And that's what the governor or the government is trying to hold on to, that they're trying to solve the problem of transportation, or better transportation in the state. And I just don't see that, honestly. But then again, when I think about it, it could be, like you said, it could be a better solution here. Maybe not with the fair prices or fares that they give the drivers, but I think I saw somewhere that they're planning on making it possible that these drivers get to own the cars at the end of 4 years through an instrumental payment plan. And I think that's a pretty good idea. Then also personally, I don't mind taking the rides in an SUV to work every day, just on the side.
Now let's take a short break for highlights from this week in tech. This is Tech Roundup Weekly. Enjoy. That's all we have today on Tech Roundup. We can catch the full episode on Pop Central TV starting in a few weeks, and we'll have more announcements on that in the coming weeks. As always, we'd love to hear your comments and feedback, so please connect with me on LinkedIn and on Twitter at Wale Farron, and subscribe to the Tech Roundup YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Also, please like us on Instagram and Facebook and be part of our ever vibrant tech community. Have a great week, guys, and see you all again next week. Good night.